So I recently finished Nocticadia by Kari Lake, and I want to share my thoughts on it because I feel like my thoughts and opinions are pretty different from how people usually talk about this book. So if you don't know what this book is about, this book is a dark academia book filled with romance and mystery. And in this, we follow our main female character, Lilia, who loses her mom to this very weird disease and makes it her life's purpose to find a cure for it. This is when she gets an invitation to Dracadia University, which is a very prestigious university, and it also happens to be the only place that studies this disease. So in this, we follow her as she tries to navigate her life in university and try to find more information about the disease and the mystery that surrounds it. This is when we meet one of her professors that actually overlooks the research for this disease. So as you get to see them get close to each other and the romance grows, you kind of get that forbidden student teacher professor type thing going on. So for the first half of this book, I was so invested. I was having the time of my life. Kari Lake's writing is so poetic. It is so beautifully written, and the way she has just written the world and the spooky vibes in the university, it is done to perfection. I really enjoyed learning about the university, the disease, the people there, the mystery surrounding the disease, everything. It was so interesting. You just instantly get hooked to this. And then we get to the second half of this book, and I honestly do not know what happened. It felt like two different authors started writing this book. I was a bit confused because the pacing slowed down instantly. I don't know what happened. I just started losing interest in the book. I felt it was dragged and the same things were repeating. I just wasn't having a good time anymore. And I was really infuriated with Lilia as well and the way she was making decisions. It just wasn't fun. One of the main issues for me in the second half of this book was the fact that the romance went from 0 and it accelerated to 100 instantly. Like, we were going from this really good, slow burn, tension-filled romance, and all of a sudden it just went to 100%, and I was just like, what? It just didn't make sense. I felt so disconnected with the characters. Nothing was interesting anymore, and I could feel a reading slump coming, so it got that bad. However, the last of this book was really good. Like, the last 15 to 20% of this book was insane. The pace picked up, everything was like unraveling, the mysteries were coming to light, and everything surrounding the disease we were getting to find out. It was really interesting, and I do wish that the middle part could have been shorter and the last part could have been longer, because there were some things at the end where I wanted more light to be shone on. It just didn't make sense. It was too fast at the end, and I would have liked more closure for certain things and more information on certain things. That being said, this is a 3-star read for me. The hype around this book was crazy. I had very high expectations for this and I was let down. It was a good book. Would I ever want to read this again? No. It did not blow me away. I don't get the people giving this book 6 stars and 5 stars. It just doesn't make sense to me. I don't think this book deserves that much. But then again, not a bad book. I just feel like it could have been better.